This conference will now be recorded.
So to host your web applications, we use app service. Okay, I want to make a deployment on top of the app service. Is it going to be CD or CD? CD. What is the task that you have used in the CD pipeline? You used a task. What is the task name? So you huh? Kuda. No. Azure App Service Deployment. Azure App Service Deployment is the task that you have used. And yesterday we have established a what? So my package is in Azure Devops. My app service is in Azure. Yes, we made a service connection. Can you please explain me what is the process to create a service connection? This is an interview question. So now tell me. Just think about it. 1 minute, guys. So how you are going to create a service connection? So first go to the portal Active Directory. Under Active Directory, you will be able to register an application. And the application registered will be having a client ID, tenant ID, everything, and then you need to create a secret. So this is what we call it as a service principal. So each and every time when I'm trying to make a deployment from your Azure DevOps to Azure portal, it is going to authenticate with the help of service principal. And the service principal should be having a role called contributor. So for that service principal, we have given a role called contributor. So that's why it is able to make deployments to the app service. Oh. So once it is deployed on top of the app service, where do you see the deployed file? Which location? So go to kudu site under root folder. Yeah. Okay. What is the default document in app service? Hosting start .html file. Okay. So now we are inside this app service, right? So where is the app service? App services. This is the service. Okay. In that we created yesterday dev IRCTC. How you are able to browse it? By browsing the URL. Okay. Now, are you going to give this URL to everyone? Like, for example, you want everybody in the world to access your application. So, here I got the URL. But in the real time, are you going to give this URL to everyone? No. So, what you are going to give? Let's consider this is the production URL, production one. So for production, it will be like something like this URL you are going to get. And finally, you can see Azure website.net. We cannot give this URL to everyone. So how the world is going to browse it? See, for you want a custom domain in the sense your own domain. That means google.com is a custom domain, zomato.com, swiggy.com, all these are custom domains. Where did they buy this from? So we have GoDaddy. So where GoDaddy, like you can buy a domain from there. GoDaddy is what it is. American publicly traded internet domain register. So you need to buy a domain from this. Okay. I bought a domain called www.irctc.com. So whenever the user enters www.irctc.com, it needs to redirect to where? To this app service. So somewhere we need to do the redirection, right? So basically, where do you need to do the redirection? So just think about it. So for this app service, I want to attach a custom domain first. Let's consider practically I cannot buy a domain right now and I cannot show anything from the GoDaddy. So just try to think that I have bought a domain called www.irctc.com and then I want to attach that domain to my app service. So within the app service on the left side, look for custom domain. Under settings, you will be having custom domain. So here you are going to add that custom domain. So since this is free subscription and see this, it is not eligible for purchasing the app service domains. So I'll show you. So this is free tier. I want to make it to paid one. I can also make that as to paid one. So just give me 1 minute. I'll just change that to something else. This is the app service and this is the app service plan and you can see that it is F1 free trial. I want to make it up to S1 anything. So just made it as S1 and once after upgrading to the plan then I will be able to add the domain name here. So just I was just trying to show you how you can get that option. Forget about where I am making the changes, all this forget about it. Going forward you will know what why we are making the changes. So on the left side under settings, you can find custom domains. So this is where you can add the custom domain. Now we got the option, right? So add the custom domain here. What is the domain name? www.irctc.com. This is my domain name. Yes. There might be n number of other peoples who are also for example, I bought the domain like irctc.com. If you want to buy the same, is it possible? Not possible, right? Then how can I say that it is mine? So you need to validate that. So when you are trying to validate, there you need to give some certificates. Forget about the certificates part as of now. You need to you need to provide the certificates, and there is n number of things which is like a networking concept. As of now, just try to understand like this. I want to validate. It is asking me what is the host name record type. Is it a record or a C name record? For example, okay, so when we are covering about the networking concept, that time I will say you what about this. So let's keep it as CNAME. So whenever any user enters www.irctc.com, the redirection should happen to my app service. So there he will be able to access the application. Now if you go to this Google, let's consider google.com. We have a lock symbol, right? That means it is HTTP or HTTPS. Hmm? It's a HTTPS. Wherever you see lock symbol, that means it is secure one. HTTP is a not secure one. HTTPS is a secure one. Okay. So once you buy the domain and you once you attach the custom domain to your app service, then you need to make it as a secure by uploading a SSL certificate. So such certificate thing, everything is will be taken care by the networking team. You don't have to worry about it. So as of now, just try to understand. So I added the custom domain. If you have not uploaded any certificate to that domain, what happens is it will be not secure. So to make it secure, you need to make it as SSL certificate or TLS termination that you need to do it. What about SSL TLS? As of now, forget about all the things. Now we are able to buy the domain and add the custom domain to the app service. So that once this is done, the user will be able to hit the irctc.com. The request comes to my app service. Till this point, it is fine, right? Okay. Next, see some options here. So within the app service, we have all these options. Basically, what is why we use all these? Yesterday, you were able to see open the Kudu, right? How did you open the Kudu? Hmm? Advanced tools. By opening advanced tools. If you open the advanced tools, and you will be able to open the Kudu. That's fine. Now tell me one point. I have made the code change and then deployed on top of the app service. And I am able to see my changes in the Kudu. That's fine. Now I directly made my changes in the Kudu. directly for some debugging or some error. What I have done was I made a fix. I directly changed directly in the app service kudu itself. Next time when I make the deployment, my changes will be there or gone. How you are saying that it is gone? Okay, I'll try to explain this way. Just take the paint. So like just consider this as my repo. This is my repo, and inside this repo I have a file 1. In this file I have written this is India. I did the CI/CD process, and then finally I deployed it on top of an app service. So let's consider this as the app service. In the app service I opened it, like opened the kudu. I went and I see that I am able to see the file 1, and in the app service also I am able to see that this is India in the file 1. Next time what I have done was I thought that India is the not the one that I need to make. I want to make it as Pakistan, like India and US. I made something changes directly in the file 1 in the app service by opening the kudu. Some other person has made, they haven't made any code changes. Some other person has run the pipeline. Again, this deployment went into the app service. Now US will be there or gone. Understood? No. Let me make it very clear. Here in the file 1 I have India. I deployed it on top of the app service, and I went into the kudu and verified that it is India only. Now forget about this part. I am a new user. I directly came into the app service and I directly removed this India, and I made it as Australia. I removed India and I kept it as Australia. But in the repos, in the file 1, what is the original code here? India only, right? Some other person has run the pipeline. So it took the latest code and deployed it on top of the app service. Now this Australia will be there or gone? Gone. So whatever the changes that you make in the kudu, those are temporary. Those are temporary. If you want to make the changes to apply all the time, you need to make the changes from the code itself. Understood? That's why in real time they are going to block your kudu access, because your changes will be temporary here. So if you want to fix that application, you need to make the changes from the code part itself, original code itself. Do not make any changes in the app service. That's why they are going to block your kudu access in the real time. Now you understood why they are going to block the kudu access. Okay, even if they blocked, somehow you want to get that access. How you can do it? Take this URL, whatever the URL that you have for this app service, take the URL. Why it is still, yeah, this is the URL, right? Copy this URL. On this. This is the URL of your app service. Before Azure website.net, keep scm dot. Scm dot. It will take you to the kudu. So this is another way of accessing the kudu. Got it? If they block you from the user interface at that time, if you want to still access the kudu, this way you can access the kudu. Okay. Now you understood why they are not giving you the access to the kudu, because those are temporary changes. Okay. Even that, they also blocked that SEM. Like even if I want to browse through the .scm, I'm not able to browse it, or I'm not able to see the kudu or whatever the file inside the app service. Still, I want to see it. So within the same app service, you will be having another option called console. If you go to the console, see this is the development tools. Here we have advanced tools. On the above we have console. See where it has taken you. Site root, right? If I want to list out the files, what is the command? app service file CA. If you want to navigate, CD app service file CA. Like that, you can go and you can verify, right? If I want to print some information in a file, I can use the cat command to print it and I can see. You cannot make any changes here, but you can see it at least. Okay, these two are fine. Then what about the app service editor? I am a developer. I directly want to make some changes in the original Kudu files itself. Kudu files itself. I want some good user interface experience. Then you can make use of the app service editor. So if you open the Kudu and if you try to open a file, there will be syntax right in the HTML file, head, body, and everything. The user interface is everything, it shows in a black color. The text will be shown in a black color. But I want that the head, the body, and everything should be, the syntax should be represented in different colors so that it will be easy for me to understand. In those cases, you can directly make use of this. So if you just save it, then it will be like, see this. You are able to see the syntaxes clearly, right? In the black, you can see your original custom titles and everything. If the developer wants to write the code here, he can write the code directly here itself. Okay, this is fine. Extensions, we will discuss about the extensions later. And as of now, we covered under development tools, we covered these three. Okay. What I want you guys to do is take a new repository, add some test.html, and deploy it on top of the app service and try to browse it. You will be getting an error saying that you do not have permissions to view this. Till this point, fine. Go back to the app service and verify that whether you made the deployment or not. You practiced till this point or not? Yeah. Okay. Now I have a question. Now everybody is going to browse this URL. Everybody is going to browse this URL. Let's consider everybody is browsing this app service. When people are browsing it, I want to make a deployment to this app service. I want to make a deployment to this app service. At that time, whether my app service will be available to browse or not. When I'm making the deployment, అందరూ దాన్ని బ్రౌజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. చేస్తున్నప్పుడు దాని మీద నేను ఒక డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ వేసాను. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, యాప్ సర్వీస్ని బ్రౌజ్ చేయగలరా లేదా? They won't be able to browse it. That's what we call it as downtime. So there is a downtime of the application. I don't want to have any downtime. Then what you can do? So first, you are going to get some message from the banks, right, saying that the site will be under maintenance from 11:30 to 2:30. At that time, what they are doing is they are making the deployments. They are making some security upgradations, patches, and everything they are doing for the application. Like the same way, first you can send that message to the users. If not that, what is the other way? There is another way. Like the same app service, you create one more app service. Send all the traffic to the second app service. Now the first app service will be free, right? At that time, you can make the deployments to the first app service. Verify it. Once it is working, transfer all the traffic to the first app service. Now the second app service is free, right? Now make the deployments to the second app service. What I was trying to say was, this is the original app service. Like the same original app service, can create one more. Let's consider the users are browsing this. The users are browsing this. Now the second app service is free, right? Without any request, make the deployments to here and verify whether it is working or not. Once it is working, transfer the traffic from here to the here. Now people are using this, right? At that time, this will be free, right? Without any request. Now make the deployments to this app service. By using this, can we reduce the downtime or not? Yes, we can reduce it. That concept is called as slots. Slots. So within the app service, we have an option called slots, deployment slots. So this deployment slot, what it is going to do is, see, deployment slots are live apps with their own host names. App content and configuration elements can be swapped between two deployment slots, including the production slot. Now consider this. Now I created one app service, right? That app service is considered as production app service. And everybody is using this app service only now. I want to make use of another slot. I want to create one more slot. That slot name I'm going to keep it as staging slot, or you can name it as some like QA slot or something. Anything you can. So add the slot. Enter the slot name. Actually, you need to get one doubt here. I am saying that same kind of like this app service, you create one more app service and divert the traffic here. For these two app services, there will be different URLs, right? Can we send the different URLs to all the users? No. Then how? So that's what we are going to cover here. So enter the start name. I'm going to make this as staging. And see this. Once I written the name and I'm going to get the URL like this dev-staging.azurewebsite.net. Do you want to clone the settings from the original app service? Yes. If you want to clone it, clone it. Or if you don't want to clone it, do not clone any setting. Just add it. So it is trying to create a new slot. That slot name is called staging slot. Why we require this? You know, right? When we are making the deployment, there will be a downtime. To avoid the downtime, we are using slots. So once this creates, and see this is created, and you can see dev irctc staging. So this is fine. Now what I want to do is I want to make you guys very clear. So that's why what I will do is I will try to create one more app service. Forget about that slot. I'll create one more app service. I'm going to make it under ARM test resource group. I'm going to make this as dev irctc new. This is the app service name, and I want to deploy code, and it should be ASP.NET 4.5 or 3.8, anything you can take. Central US, fine. This is fine, and the plan F1 it is taking. Take whatever it is taking. Take all the defaults. So it is trying to submit the deployment, and once it is created, we will create one more staging slot in this. See, why I am trying to show you was, why I am trying to create a new app service was, when you create the two app services, the default page will be same, right? Your web app is running and host your content. This is the default page. I want to show the difference between these two, right? To which app service my request is going. So you need to differentiate. So that's why I'm taking a new one. When I take a new one, I'll get the hosting start.html file. Okay. So this is done. Now what I want to do is I want to create some staging slot. So to this app service, I want to create slots, deployment slots, and see this. This is what the error that you are going to get. And when you try to add slot and enter the name as staging, do not clone any setting. Today we are going to touch at least one more service related to this. No, no, wait. This is my demo app. I choose the wrong app service. Let's go to the app services. Dev IRCTC new is the latest one that we created, right? That's what I was thinking. We need to get one error. I'll show you why we are getting that error. So this is your new app service, and see the app service plan. It is F1 and free trial. So when you are creating when you want to use app service, each and every app service should be having a plan. Without plan, it will never create an app service. This is the first point. Earlier I haven't mentioned. I just went with the default things. Nowhere I have specified I want a plan or something else. So by default, when you are trying to create app service, it by default creates an app service plan in the background. Okay. Basically, what is the app service plan? So first we will discuss. For example, I have 8 GB of RAM. In this 8 GB, for example, in my system, I have 8 GB of RAM. In this 8 GB of RAM, like, am I specifying anywhere this game? Like, I installed some games into the system. Am I specifying anywhere this game should take 2 GB, this game should take 1 GB? Like this, no, right? You are simply opening the game and you are utilizing the RAM, right? Like the same way, you created an app service. Now you will get one doubt. On this app service, for example, my package is 100 MB, whether it will support 100 MB or not. For example, my package is 500 MB. How much MB of data that you can store in the, how much MB of package that can be stored on the app service, you will get one doubt, right? Can I host a 10 GB of data on the app service? You will have this kind of information, right? So basically, what an app service plan contains is whatever the compute resources. Whenever I say compute resources, the performance related, all these things will be given to the app service by the app service plan. The app service plan will be holding the configuration for the app service. What kind of configuration? Compute resources. మీ యాప్ సర్వీస్ రన్ అవ్వాలంటే దానికి కావాల్సిన కంప్యూటింగ్ రిసోర్సెస్ మొత్తం ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయంటే యాప్ సర్వీస్ ప్లాన్లో ఉంటాయి. ప్లాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని మీకు పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఎక్కువ వస్తుంది యాప్ సర్వీస్. సో జస్ట్ కన్సిడర్ లైక్ దిస్. So all the compute resources for the app services will be given by the app service plan. If I go with the app service plan F1, see what kind of features I am going to get. So this is the app service plan, and see that we have F1. See how many apps are created by using this plan. Two apps are there. So you can directly click on the apps. You can see that there are two apps which is using this plan. I want to see the configuration of the app service plan or the compute resources that is given by this app service plan. So there are two kinds of things in this: scale up and scale down. Just consider this. I have 4 GB of RAM. See here. Why I am taking you to the app service plan is because you need to understand this. I have a system. This system, I have 4 GB of RAM, 100 GB of hard disk. At some point of time, this is not sufficient for me. Then what you are going to do? This configuration is not sufficient for me, or the compute resources that I am using for the laptop is not sufficient for me. Then what I do? Within the same system, I am going to make 8 GB of RAM, keep 8 GB of RAM, increase the configuration, and keep the 100 GB to 150 GB of hard disk. So within a single system, I just increase the configuration rate. This is called as vertical scaling. So within the single system, I'm going to increase the configuration part. That's why I'm going to call it as a vertical scaling. Scaling means automatically increasing or decreasing. I am just increasing it to 8 GB. So that means I'll try to put it this way. It will be, so 4 GB RAM is there. I want to increase up to 8 GB RAM. So on a single system, I am just increasing the configuration part. This can be treated as vertical scaling. Then what about horizontal scaling? 4 GB of RAM is not sufficient for me. I am going to purchase one more system, and one more system I am just going to keep this beside. And for this system also, I am going to keep 4 GB of RAM. Like this, if this 8 GB is also not sufficient, then what I am going to do? I am going to keep one more side by side. That means horizontally I am increasing, right? This is called as horizontal scaling. And if you just for a single system, if you increase the configuration, that is called as vertical scaling. This is very important. How many scalings are there? Two scaling, horizontal and vertical. What is the difference between them? For a single system, if you increase the configuration, that is a vertical scaling. What about horizontal scaling? If you increase the number of systems or the instances side by side, then that is called as horizontal scaling. Which one you think will be easy? Vertical will be very easy. Now see this. For my app service plan, if I go to overview, for my app service plan, I have F1. I like F1 is not sufficient for me. How I am saying it is not sufficient, I'll tell you. If you go to the scale up is for vertical scaling or horizontal. What do you think? Scale out, scale up. Okay, it is a vertical scaling. See, when I created the app service plan, it is F1. And see, 1 GB of memory you can store, and 60 minutes per day for compute can be used. So 60 minutes you can use it per day. If you go with the D1, see, one feature is added extra. You can add custom domains to your app service. If I go with the B1, along with the custom domain, I can also add SSL certificates to it. And also manual scaling is possible. When you are dealing with the production environments, so in production they used to take all this. If you take S1, see the cost, 5,259 rupees. If I go with P1 V2, 10,000 rupees. So if you go with S1, see this. What are the features I am going to get? Custom domains, auto scaling, staging slots. So if I want to use staging slot, my app service plan also should be supporting that. If the app service plan is F1, I cannot use staging slots. So that's why I'm just increasing to S1. Now you understood why I'm explaining about the app service plan. So if I have my plan as S1, then only I will be able to use this feature. So I just selected S1 and apply this. And if you take P3, V3, see this 69,420 rupees per month. Okay. So what happens with this? So you will get more configuration. That's it. If I take S1, I will get 1.75 GB of memory. If I take P1, V2, 3.5. If you go with the SF1, see, there are no features. Understood? So that's why I have chosen S1. And now let's go back to the overview and verify that whether it is updated or not. Yes, it is updated. Now I can make use of slots, right? Yes. Now let's go to the app service, and this is my app service. Now I will be able to use the slots. So in the search bar itself, look for slots. Add the slot. So this is the original app service, right? The original app service will be always considered as the production one. Here it will consider it as a production one. Now just add a slot. I'm going to make it as staging slot and see the URL. If you want to browse the staging slot, then you need to use this URL. Understood? And do you want to clone the setting? No. I'm just going to keep these two URLs on a notepad to make you understand. If you want to open a notepad, Windows or notepad. This is the staging slot URL. Okay. Yes, add this. I don't want to clone any settings from the original production app service. That's why I mentioned it as do not clone settings. So while this is getting created, what I want to show you is just to duplicate this. And once this is created, see how it is going to be looked, how it is going to look. So dev IRCTC is the our original app service. And to browse this, we need to have the URL. So just go to the overview and copy this. This one is for staging and this one is for original app service. See the URLs, two are different, right? So even if you want to remove this, you can remove. Two are different, right? It is ending with Azure website.net, Azure website.net. But see this staging and this is original one. Okay. Now let's see. And it is successfully created the slot staging. Fine. Now I want to verify it. So this is under this resource group only, right? Okay, go back to that and see. A staging slot is created and see this app service of slot. That means it looks same like the app service, but it is a slot. So just open the slot. You will be able to see all the options similar. Okay. See, this is the URL, app service plan. Everything will be common, but it is a slot. Okay. Now I want to show you this. So this is the original app service. Browse this app service URL. Copy this and paste it here. So when I browse the production app service, it is giving me this website. This is the starting page. Then what about the other one? So go for the other one also. Staging slot, right? Take this URL, browse this. If you browse the staging slot also, we will be having the same one. Now what I am going to do is I want to change the HTML page of the second one. Why? To show where my request is going. If the both the starting pages are the same, then how can I say that this is from app service 1 or app service staging slot? So that's why I want to change this. Where I can change? Yeah. Go to Kudu and make the changes. Okay, debug console, command line or PowerShell, anything you can take, and you will be able to see site inside that. Yeah, root. See, when I am trying to select here, the automatically the path changes here. So open this file, and you want to edit something, right? So first take this, go to Kudu, and this is where you need to search for it, right? In this, yeah. I want to change this to something else. I'm just going to make it as staging slot. Save this. Now try to browse this staging slot URL. Yeah. So now I can say that to where my request is going. Okay. So if it is first app service, it is going to be like this. If the request goes to the staging slot, the output that I need to get is this one. Okay. These two is fine. Now let's go to the staging slot. So this is my original app service. If I go to the slots, I'm able to see that the number of slot that is available here. So I have production slot and staging slot. Now, where the traffic is going actually, everything is going to the production. When I say production, this is the one, right? Okay. Now I want to make some deployments to the production slot. If I want to open the closed tab, Control Shift T. Okay. Now every traffic is going into the production slot only. Now I want to change the traffic to this slot, 100%. I just changed the complete traffic to this staging slot. Now save this. For production slot, we have one URL. For staging slot, we have another URL. Are you going to give the users of మీ అందరి users కి రెండు URLs ఇస్తారా? ఇవ్వరు. You are going to give only one URL. That URL is the overview. In the overview, whatever the original app service URL that you have, this is only what you are going to give. The users are going to take this and they are going to browse this. See where the request goes. Why? Because I changed the complete traffic to the staging slot. Now the production slot is free, right? Now I can make the deployments to the production slot. Okay. So the people are still using the original URL only, but where the request has taken care, it went into the staging slot. Now I want to make some deployments to the production slot. I can make it. Okay, once after making the changes or something, let's consider like this. Now the production slot is empty. Whatever I want to make the changes, I can make it in the production slot. Now it is fine. I want some people to access production slot and I want some people to access staging slot. So where you need to make the change? Yes, exactly. If you go to the slots, there you need to make the 50-50 as the traffic. So in order to prove that, I need all of you guys to access it multiple times so that the request will be going into different slots. So I want you guys to try for it, but as of now, I'm just making it as 50-50. Like this, you can make the change. Okay. Whatever the deployment that I want to plan for the staging slot, I have done it. And whatever the application that is running on the staging slot, I want the same application to be running on top of the production slot also. At that time, you can do the swapping. Swap the changes from staging slot to the production slot. And see this. Source is staging. Where you want to move that all the files production. Whatever the changes I have in the staging slot, take all the changes and keep it in the production. And just swap the changes. And once you swap, what you need to do is completely divert the traffic to the production only and verify whether all the changes from the staging slot has been rendered onto the production slot. అర్థమైంది కదా మీకైతే ఇప్పుడు స్టేజింగ్ స్లాట్లో ఏదైతే ఉందో అది మొత్తం తీసుకెళ్ళి నేను ప్రొడక్షన్ స్లాట్లోకి వేస్తున్నాను. వేసిన తర్వాత స్టేజింగ్ స్లాట్కి నేను జీరో ట్రాఫిక్ పెట్టుకుంటాను. అప్పుడు దేనికి వెళ్తే రిక్వెస్ట్లన్నీ ప్రొడక్షన్ స్లాట్కి వెళ్తాయి. ప్రొడక్షన్ స్లాట్లో ఏమొస్తుంది? స్టేజింగ్ స్లాట్లో ఉన్నాయని వచ్చేస్తాయి. అప్పుడు నేను ప్రొడక్షన్ బ్రౌజ్ చేసినా కూడా స్టేజింగ్ స్లాట్ అనే కోడే వస్తుంది. So whatever I try to browse, like once I made the swapping, what happens is along with the changes, the code also is going to be available onto the production slot. So once these changes are done, let's see. Successfully completed a swap between the slots. Close it. And see, automatically the traffic diverted to production URL. Now you already know the production URL, right? This is the production URL. See, you will be able to get only the this one. Okay. When you are able to see this, basically what happens is your Chrome will be having some cookies and cache memories. That makes the application to work whatever you are trying to achieve, it won't show you, but in the background it has completed because of the cache memory. It is trying to show you the same page. So now go back to this and take any other browser and try to hit the this one. See, I'm able to get it right. But if you see in this browser, because of cache memory, it is behaving like this. So when you are trying to browse the URLs, always it is recommended to daily clear your browsing history. Okay, you have seen that here. Like I browsed the production URL only. The traffic is also went into the production, but I can see the staging slot, right? That means whatever the code that is available in the staging slot, everything is moved into the production. This way, I can eliminate the process of downtime. Okay, till this point, it is fine. So basically, why we use app service plan to host app service plan. App service is for hosting the applications. What do we use app service plan for? Whatever the configuration, do not mention like configuration, mention it like the set of compute resources to run your app services will be given by app service plan. Compute resources for performance, ACUs, like they are going to calculate the perform, like how you are going to calculate your system speed based on the processor output operations, all this, right? Like the same way, for the app services, the compute resources will be given by whom? App service plan. So those are called as ACUs, Azure Compute Units. They are going to call it as Azure Compute Units. They calculate the performance based on ACU. Okay, so let's go to this staging slot, and this is fine. Now, till this point, any doubts? We have created a slot, and basically they are going to ask you the questions related to this. So I'll just discuss the interview questions, whatever we have discussed. What is app service plan? It is for hosting the see. What is app service? App service is used for hosting the application. What is app service plan? The set of compute resources given to the app service by app service plan. Okay. What are different kind of app service plans so far you have seen? F1, S1, P1, V1, P2, V2. There are some different kinds. What is the difference between these F1, S1? Hmm? Features. Different kind of features you are going to get based upon the plan. Okay. Why we use slots? To reduce the downtime. To reduce the downtime, or if you do not want to have any downtime, you can make use of slots. Okay. Huh. Till this point, it is fine. Okay. Now, for this app service, we will see one more option. So, basically, if you want to transfer the files from your Windows to Linux machine, how did you transfer? Putty. Clone. Somebody said clone, somebody said putty. FTP. What is FTP? Protocol. Which one you used? WinSCP or FileZilla. Anything you can use. Now I have a requirement. If I open the Kudu, I am able to see this hosting start.html, but I am not able to download it. I want to somehow keep this as a backup in my local system. So that means I want to connect to this app service, and then I need to download it, right? So if I want to connect, I need to have username and password. Without username and password, this is not possible. So where can you get that kind of information? So if you go to the app service, within the app service, we have deployment center. So we have deployment center. If you go to the deployment center, there it is going to show you some information about it. And now what you want to do is you want to have FTP. Go to deployment credentials, and you can see the FTP FTPS. So take this, copy, open WinSCP. WinSCP or FileZilla, anything is fine. WinSCP, open this. This is also an interview question. I want to take the backup of the existing app service, all the files. By directly going into the Kudu, so directly from the site itself, you can download it. But if there are multiple folders, so if you want to do that, you can make use of this. If you want to download, let me tell you this. I understood what you are, what I'm how you are saying. Okay, take this PowerShell, command line, PowerShell, anything you can take. Once after taking, if I want to have it downloaded, directly I can download it from the site level itself. So that inside whatever that is there inside it, it is going to be downloaded. Now I want to upload one file, one folder. Is it possible for you to upload? I'll show you. Go to site, go to root. I want to upload one folder itself. In that folder, I have 10 files. I want to upload that folder itself here. So click on plus. Here it is asking me to new folder. It will create a new folder, but there is no option to upload, right? Then in that case, what you are going to do? I know what you are going to do. Create a folder, open that folder, create one file inside it, copy paste the information. That way you can do. If it is one or two files, you can do it. If there are a number of files, so that's where FTP is going to be used. So take this WinSCP and it is asking me. So click on new site and go back to that app service FTPS credentials and see this app credentials and user credentials. First one, first copy the endpoint FTPS endpoint, paste it, and then what is the username? This is the username. And what is the password? Here it is showing a star. So simply click on show. It is going to show the password. Copy and paste it. Login. Now you will be able to log in into the app service. So whatever you want to upload it to the app service, you can directly upload it or download it. Understood? So this is also an interview question. I want to upload a large file into the app service. How can I upload? For example, if it is 100 MB, send that file to the repository. From the repository, copy files, publish artifact, and then release pipeline, deploy app service. That way we can send it. But I want it to be very easy way. So this is the another way. Okay. So like this also you can take the copy backup of the existing files, or even if you want to upload any files, you can do the FTP. Okay. Till this point it is fine. Okay. So deployment slots we have seen. Deployment center we have seen. If you go to the properties, nothing. It is under which subscription, what is the URL, what is the virtual IP address for this, and all these things will be able to see some properties of that particular app service. You are able to see all those things only. Now, when I created the app service, I chose ASP.NET 4.8, the technical stack. I want to change it to Java. Is it possible or not possible? Hmm? What do you think? When I'm creating the app service, I selected ASP.NET 4.8 as the technical stack, and I created it. Now they asked me to change it to Java. Is it possible or not possible? In Windows, no. No, the app service itself I'm speaking. It is possible. Okay, where it is? If you go to the configuration part, in the configuration part, you will be able to see three settings: application setting, general setting, default documents. These three are very important. Earlier, we have already dealt with this default document. Now go to the application setting. Here, nowhere you can see that information. Go to general setting. See the stack. I want to make it to Java. What kind of Java version? Java 8. Anything. You can select all this and you can just save it. Got it. So when you go to the configuration part in the app service, there you might be having a chances to make the general settings. Okay. So I need to select all the Java version, minor and major version, and then I need to save this. That's fine. Even if you simply want to make it to .NET Core, also you can make it. So .NET and ASP.NET Core, and just simply save this. Save. Okay. So this is how we can make use of this. What is scale? What is horizontal scaling? You need to use a technical term, increasing the number of systems or increase instances on a side by side. That is called as horizontal. If I just change the configuration part only for a specific system, or for a specific system, if I just increase the configuration part, then it is a vertical system. You need to explain them. For example, I created a system with 4 GB of RAM and I want to increase the configuration. Then we can go with the vertical scaling. Oh. So till this point, any doubts? So we have seen custom domains, and then we have seen scale up in the app service plan. So we will be having scale out. Scale out is means horizontal. Scale up means vertical. And then see this console we have seen advanced tools. So going forward, one by one we will see all the settings. So these are very important as of now. Till this point, any doubts? unable to pass.
This conference will now be recorded.
What is this? Is it behaving some? Okay, guys. If there are no doubts, we can drop off.